Welcome to the inside story of Diageo Serengeti Breweries, Tanzania. This is an investigative story that transcends beyond principle-drawn boundaries, ethical borders, and culture cornerstones. A story of one man's personal beliefs, ethics, and principles that cost him 15 years of his personal, professional life and still counting. A journey undertaken to bring out the truth where not many would dare tread. He stands alone in the face of adversity, been through hostile conditions, oppressed by many, and looked down by everyone who thought he was crazy to fight for what he truly believed in. Why does the truth stand alone and corruption have many friends? Hence is there justice for standing up to corruption, he questions emphatically. The objective of this video is to draw the attention of the following. The Security Exchange Commission, the Department of Justice, under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, United States. The Serious Fraud Office, United Kingdom. The Financial Conduct Authority, United Kingdom. High Commissioner for United Nations Human Rights Commission, Gambia and Tanzania. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Switzerland, Tanzania, United Kingdom and United States. Human Rights Watch, Tanzania. Amnesty International, Tanzania. The UK Tax Authorities and Her Majesty's Office. The Action Fraud Office, UK. The Ministry of Constitutional and Legal Affairs and the Judicial Service Commission of Tanzania. The Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, Tanzania. The Tanzanian Revenue Authorities. Deloitte's due diligence. Our investigation led us to a document that reveals a due diligence investigation conducted by Deloitte's Tanzania. However, this due diligence study was only done for the period starting from January 2009 to October 2010. A due diligence report by Deloitte's highlighted concerns about Serengeti's tax avoidance practices such as employee taxes, employment contracts, withholding taxes, corporate taxes, value-added taxes, and excise duties. It states, in certain circumstances, the salary amounts in the employment contracts do not match with salaries reported in the payroll. It raises further concerns such as telephone airtime, company cars, school fees, electricity, security, water, employee bonuses, house rent allowances, and transfer disturbance allowances. For senior employees, skills development levy and the National Social Security Fund have been calculated based on the total of cash and not cash benefits. There is no evidence that pay half-yearly tax statements and the employer's half-yearly certificates were submitted to TRA. Additionally, the report also raises concerns over corporate tax, withholding tax, value-added tax, and excise duty being avoided. Our investigation further led us to Mr. Harish Kumar, the former financial controller of Diageo Serengeti Breweries.
हेलो
हरीश क्या हाल है?
कैसे मैं कॉल किया था सुबह आपका
I was busy no at work. I didn't want to talk to you.
Okay. कैसे
So you're in Dar es Salaam now?
Yes, I came Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday I gone to Zanzibar. Monday I have a German bankers coming for the Turkey group. So I complete the meeting. Then today I have other two project meeting also. So that's complete. Now tomorrow I am going back also.
Oh, okay.
I came from Uganda. Uganda से इधर आया. अभी इंडिया जा रहा है 31st को नाइजीरिया से एक बड़ा ग्रुप का चेयरमैन आ रहा है हमारे ऑफिस में. उसको मिलने के बाद मैं नाइजीरिया जाना है. आई एम डूइंग फुल कंसल्टेंसी. आई डोंट वांट टू वर्क नाउ एनीवेयर.
Good for you, man. Listen.
अभी 8 बजे को सुबह को मिलना है.
Oh, okay.
I have good relation. Still I keep it.
और बता. अच्छा, listen. What I want to ask you something.
Okay, tell me.
In 2009, 2010,
okay.
Serengeti Breweries, they did a re-audit conducted by Price Waterhouse for balance sheets for 2005 to 2010, I think.
Correct.
For 5 years. The PwC did that. I think PwC did that.
Correct.
You know that, right?
I know.
I want a copy of that document. PwC did that. I think PwC did that.
Correct.
You know that, right?
I know.
I want a copy of that document.
ये सब अभी देखना पड़ेगा which फाइल में रखा हूँ मैंने. मैं अभी लैपटॉप इधर मेरे पास नहीं है ना, इंडिया में मेरे घर
I
पे
know
है.
you don't have, you're not carrying, I know that, man. You're not carrying it with you here. I know that.
Everything is at my home, India.
I know it's there in
All
India.
see, मैं किधर काम किया है, सबका डाटा मेरे पास है. ये सब मैं मेरे घर के कंप्यूटर में सेव करके रखा है.
अच्छा, I don't.
I
don't want any other company. I just want Serengeti Breweries. That I want that PwC document.
Okay.
Can you send me the document when you go back to India?
Only on. I can give you only 3rd February.
Okay, no problem.
The recorded conversation clearly reveals that he was in possession of the said balance sheets that was initiated by Pricewaterhouse Kenya and carried out by Pricewaterhouse Tanzania. He promised to email the balance sheets but thereafter went missing, and when we tried to contact him thereafter, he was unreachable. Was he threatened of dire consequences? Our investigative observations. Why was Deloitte's due diligence done for only 20 months? That's from January 2009 to October 2010. What happens to the previous year's due diligence? That's from 2001. How did Diageo East African Breweries arrive at a fair share evaluation? What was the need to re-audit the TRA audited balance sheets from years 2006 to 2010 by Pricewaterhouse? Was the need to revaluate the balance sheets from 2006 to 2010 by PwC to depict the true business revenue of Serengeti Breweries that was probably earlier undervalued, or was it done in order to manipulate the share value, in order to arrive at a higher fair share price? Here was an organization that possessed a market share of 8 to 10% as of 2009. What is market share? Market share is calculated by the total market consumption of a specific product divided by total sales of the similar product over a specific period of time. Based on the TRA audited balance sheets, why would Diageo East African Breweries pay £60 million for 51% stake for Serengeti Breweries, which is now at 85%? In other words, how did Diageo East African Breweries arrive at a fair share evaluation? One may argue that Serengeti Breweries has a brand value. However, brand value with an 8 to 10% market share? Well, brand equity is measured in two ways, quantitatively and qualitatively. Quantitative measurement includes measuring revenue, profit, loss, and sales. Qualitative methods of measurement include intangible factors such as consumer satisfaction, consumer awareness, brand perception, etc. The question that arises here: if there is a difference between TRA audited balance sheets and the PwC audited balance sheets, if yes, what happens to the unpaid taxes for the years 2006 to 2010? The Deloitte's due diligence investigation was carried out for 20 months that showed various tax avoided areas. What happens for years from 2001 to 2008? The total approximate amount paid till date for 85% equity of Serengeti Breweries Limited is $150 million plus. What happens to the capital gains taxes? Ideally, private companies have their balance sheets re-audited when they need to carry out the following. 1. Pay less taxes, hence increase their operating expenses. 2. Seeking a loan, hence decrease liabilities and expenses and show a healthy cash flow. 3. Depict the true business revenue that was undervalued earlier in order to obtain a higher share value while showing decreased liabilities and expenses. This is the balance sheet of Serengeti Breweries as of 2010 that shows part of the following share breakup. 1. Negus Holding Limited, 32.67%, where Vimal Mehta is supposedly the chairman, located within Tanzania. 2. Vimal Mehta 7.1%. 3. Napster Group 24.4%, located within the British Virgin Islands, supposedly owned by Vimal Mehta. 4. Union Breweries 24.5%, located within Mauritius, supposedly owned by Vimal Mehta. Figure 1 identifies Vimal Mehta as the ultimate beneficiary of Union Breweries. Union Breweries that apparently holds 24.4% shareholdings within Diageo Serengeti Breweries Tanzania as of 2010. However, this 24.5% since 2010 would have either been decreased or completely erased as the equity of Diageo East African Breweries increased. Union Breweries, as per the balance sheets as of 2010, displays as shareholder registered in Mauritius, which is of course a tax haven. Currently, Union Breweries has a registered address of Palm Jumeirah, Dubai, UAE. Figure 2 identifies Vimal Mehta as the ultimate beneficiary of Napster Group. Napster Group that apparently holds 24.4% shareholdings within Diageo Serengeti Breweries, Tanzania as of 2010. However, this 24.4% since 2010 would have either been decreased or completely erased as the equity of Diageo East African Breweries increased. Napster Group, as per the balance sheets as of 2010, displays as shareholder registered in the British Virgin Islands, which is of course a tax haven. Currently, Union Breweries has a registered address of Palm Jumeirah, Dubai, UAE. Figure 3 identifies Vimal Mehta as the ultimate beneficiary of Union Breweries. Here, Union Breweries has been registered within the British Virgin Islands as of 2010. Figure 4 identifies Vimal Mehta as the ultimate beneficiary of Napster Group. Here, Napster Group has also been registered within the British Virgin Islands as of 2000. Investigation court case. An investigation into the termination of the former general manager and head of human resources known as Dr. Hector Sikwira of Serengeti Breweries, who was brought to Tanzania in 2008, reveals that his termination was due his refusal to sign any documents such as employment contracts, payroll, etc. that would undermine the taxes to be paid to the Tanzanian government. Diageo Serengeti Breweries used two versions of its employment contracts for its expatriate and senior Tanzanian employees. One contract showed a false low salary in Tanzanian shillings. This version was given to tax authorities for NSSF and for the processing of work permits, while the other contract had an additional page on which the real salaries that were in USD, which were never disclosed. The due diligence report by Deloitte highlighted concerns about Serengeti's tax avoidance practices that states, in certain circumstances, the salary amounts in the employment contracts do not match with salaries reported in the payroll. The dual employment contracts were to avoid paying taxes, extending to all foreign nationals employed by Diageo Serengeti Breweries Limited. This employee payee tax avoidance alone amounted to approximately $2.4 million per year, and that this practice continued for many years since the inception of 2001 to 2010. Our investigation reveals that the former GM and head of human resources was the custodian of such dubious employment contracts and an eyewitness to such salaries being paid via voucher in cash. Interestingly, the former GM and head of human resources was terminated on the pretext that the immigration and labor authorities would not renew his work permit, which was proved false before the Commission for Mediation and Arbitration and at the High Court. After terminating the former GM and head of human resources, Diageo Serengeti Breweries replaced him with a Ghanaian national known as Eric Adedevo, and after he was transferred, a South African national known Ms. Arlene Abraham was appointed. Excepts from the CMA ruling mentioned on page 8. The respondent could not have resorted to recruit other expatriates, that is Eric Adedevo and later Ms. Arlene Abraham. Given that the expatriates were recruited following the termination of the complainant, it defeats the logic that the respondent was localizing the complainant's position. The TIC letter explicitly stated that after failure to get local experts, they could recruit expatriates, but only after submitting attachment showing efforts made without success. The respondent did not tender any evidence that after terminating the complainant, they re-advertised his position for the same to be filled by local experts. Their evidence that they localized his post is not supported by any evidence. Deliberate delays. Labor cases as per the Tanzanian labor law should not take more than 30 to 90 days for mediation and 90 days to 120 days for arbitration. However, given the number of cases filed in today's time, a conclusion should be reached within 12 to 18 months since filing of the case. However, the case of the former GM and head of human resources took 78 months in total. This case was first filed in CMA Temeke district, where it took 67 months alone for Diageo Serengeti Breweries to produce 3 witnesses. Our investigation reveals Diageo Serengeti Breweries used its influence to drag the case in order to wear the former GM out. In May 2014, it was reported to the CMA headquarters of the unnecessary delays in this case, who then had this case transferred from CMA Te-Meke District to CMA Ilala District. The Commission for Mediation and Arbitration passed its ruling on the 16th of June 2015 in favor of Dr. Hector Siqueira. Appeal, High Court. Diageo Serengeti Breweries appealed to High Court Labor Division. On the 16th of March 2016, Dr. Hector Siqueira was arrested by immigration authorities claiming that his permit had a problem. This drama was being played out by none other than Diageo Serengeti Breweries Limited in order to prevent him from filing his final submission within the High Court on the 17th of March 2016. Fortunately, with the help of a few friends, he was released and his submission was filed on the 17th of March 2016. On the 2nd of June 2016, the Labor High Court upheld the CMA proceedings, except from the High Court judgment mentioned on page 12. But on the other side, this court is of the firm decision in the decision at hand and without flickers of doubt that the termination of the respondent's employment was under the disguise and camouflage of a permit. Throughout the records, there is no any written document from the Office of the Labor Commissioner or the Minister for Labor denying the respondent's work permit for the remaining time of his contract, bearing in mind that the first work permit was sought by the applicant herself, and it is the applicant who sought the service of the respondent after interviewing him from India and making him leave his job that he possessed earlier. The letter issued by the TIC was an advisory onto the applicant, and that the duty is not under the TIC to issue work permits rather than the Commissioner of Labor. Therefore, the reason advanced by the applicant for terminating the respondent was much and greatly contributed by herself. The Tanzanian Investment Center letter. This was the letter that Diageo Serengeti Breweries tendered as evidence as a letter of rejection, which was set aside by the CMA and rejected by the High Court. This is Mr. Venu Gopal, a former agent of Diageo Serengeti Breweries who used to obtain work permits for them and the one who obtained this TIC letter displayed on the left. Let's see what he has to say regards Dr. Hector Siqueira's permit.
To me seems like a forged letter.
No, I received from that.
Now, because one is the date is wrong. Okay. Second thing is the reference number which they are giving here is 2007-2008, which again does not exist. I joined this company only in August 2008. How can this be dated January 2008? That is third problem. The person's name, Venkatesh, he is a factory manager currently right now in our Mawanda plant. They have put him as general manager marketing.
Then we made a mistake in a lot of places. Then we give one clarification also. What of that one? So he is not my person, is not this thing, so his designation. We will give a letter to them as per this letter.
But this letter was not showed to me. You know, when they showed me this letter, they showed me this letter in the month of April or May. I asked for this letter. They never showed me this letter before. No, but sir, what I have understood is that, see, another thing is this is false signature, it is not an original signature. I do not know, I mean, it looks like that. See, this whole printing kind of thing, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Mama Cynthia.
Okay. She is who?
She is the director for facilitation on behalf of executive director.
Mama Cynthia. Okay. She is the director?
Director for facilitation.
Okay. But actually, sir, I know one thing. I'm just looking at what are the reasons you're saying. My senior academic qualifications, you give all the papers to them.
Yes.
Surprising, sir, because I am a double master's graduate. Okay, and I'm doing my PhD also. I have a whole lot of international certifications. You know very well a permit is easy got. But do you think this letter, I mean, what they made this letter, they asked them to get this letter, or it was just given like that only?
Who?
The Serengeti people asked them to give this letter?
No. They won't write like that. If someone is going and asking to write like they are submitted, no?
Yeah, they're committed. But then, sir, how come when you appeal, how come my permit was not got?
I think we didn't appeal for you.
You didn't appeal for me. Okay, you appeal for the others, and the other two got. Okay, sir. Anyway, this is what I wanted, and
During our investigation, we found that Madam Sinza, the Director Facilitation at the Tanzanian Investment Center, was the third witness for Diageo Serengeti Breweries at the CMA. During the hearing, she stated the same confession as narrated by Mr. Venu Gopal that Diageo Serengeti Breweries deliberately never processed or followed up to obtain the work permit for Dr. Hector Sequeira. Court of Appeal. A series of legal errors committed by Diageo Serengeti Breweries rendered their notice of appeal to be struck out on the 1st of November 2017. Their errors were such as A. Failure to serve the notice of appeal within time. B. Failure to file their written submissions within time when they sought an extension of time. C. Failure to appear when the hearing was scheduled. However, Diageo Serengeti Breweries went back to the High Court seeking an extension of time to file a fresh notice of appeal, only to be dismissed in July 2018. Investigation observation. Our investigations reveal that as of the 15th of July 2018, Dr. Hector's legal team then proceeded to execute the CMA decree since there was no pending application pending before any court, that is neither a stay of execution or the notice of appeal or the appeal itself, however, to only be met with a new obstruction. The Deputy Registrar then of the Labour High Court, Madam Simfuke, refused to go ahead with the execution since she was of the opinion that Diageo Serengeti Breweries should be allowed to file their application, seeking an extension of time to file a fresh notice of appeal for the second time since the earlier one was struck out for failing to take essential steps as of November 2017. Thereafter, the matter was escalated to the Chief Justice of Tanzania, who then directed the Principal Judge of the High Court, then Dr. Feleshi, to look into the matter. The Principal Judge of the High Court, which is purely an administrative function that oversees the smooth functioning of all high courts, summons Dr. Hector Sequeira along with his advocate, late George Kalindu, and were literally told down in the presence of Diageo Serengeti Breweries advocate, Mr. Alex Mongoloa, and their legal manager, Mr. Gwandumi Monglambe, that Diageo Serengeti Breweries Limited should be allowed time to file their application since Dr. Hector was a foreigner. After filing the notice of appeal in May 2019, the time to file memorandum and record of appeal was from March 2022 to May 2022. Where Diageo Serengeti Breweries once again faulted, now claiming to have not received the proceedings of the CMA that have been made available since June 2016 and earlier claimed to be illegal while seeking an extension of time before this very Court of Appeal. Investigative observations. Diageo was very well aware of all the corruption that has been happening from the onset of this case. According to documentation consisting of email communications to their global legal team as well as their ethics team in the UK, Diageo was repeatedly been made aware of all that has been happening from the onset of this trial. However, they choose to turn a blind eye. What's important given the evidence shown above, here the question that arises is, if the similar kind of case was to take place in the UK, US, or any other first world country, would Diageo have allowed this kind of case to go on for 15 years given the evidence at hand and the magnitude of the case? The answer is definitely no. Then why Tanzania? Diageo is very well aware that the systems and infrastructure within Tanzania isn't as robust as compared to the West, hence they took advantage of the situation despite knowing Vimal Mehta's history and that he would use his money, power and influence to get his way around. Our investigation reveals that Dr. Feleshi, the former principal judge of the High Court, did not know that he was evidently used to stop the whole tax avoidance from coming out to light by stopping the execution process on the 24th of September 2018. He was misled into believing that there was an application pending before the Court of Appeal, while the application in question was only to seek an extension of time to file a fresh notice of appeal. In reality, Diageo Serengeti Breweries had no intention at all to file the appeal. In fact, to this very date, they have not filed the memorandum and record of appeal, neither have they themselves till date a stay of execution. It would be critical to note that filing the memorandum and record of appeal would mean Diageo Serengeti Breweries shooting themselves in the foot since the entire CMA proceedings, along with the exhibits and witness statements, would turn their tax avoidance into a tax evasion story. The Prevention and Combating of Corruption Bureau, PCCB, and the Tanzanian Revenue Authorities. During our investigation, we found that the PCCB and the TRA were closely investigating the matter since it was brought to their notice way back in 2017. However, both these organizations were faced with an obstruction that since the matter was pending before a court of law, they were unable to proceed further. Dr. Hector Siqueira is an eyewitness to the tax avoidance that this company has been involved in, and should the execution have gone through in the right manner back in 2017 or 2018, the Tanzanian revenue authorities would have got involved and their whole Pandora's box of tax avoidances mentioned within the Deloitte's due diligence report would have surfaced. Hence, in order to cover it up, they needed to wear him out in his fight for justice. Secondly, Diageo Serengeti Breweries is a listed company and operates in over approximately 150 countries, hence listed globally at most stock exchanges. Every capital market authority and shareholder around the world would question Diageo on their reasons for taking on a liability of this magnitude, which could have possible large-scale implications and a gross impact on their stock value. On the other hand, in reality, Diageo Serengeti Breweries is using the Tanzanian judiciary as a piece of convenience in order to avoid the whole tax avoidance from coming out in the open by dragging this case. On the larger picture, Diageo Serengeti Breweries is part of Diageo UK and East African Breweries Kenya, and if by the next hearing if Dr. Hector is disappeared or killed, this matter will die a silent death. As justice delayed is good as justice denied. Point of investigation: should any organization wish to investigate further, here are a few highlighters. 1. Kind attention, Serious Fraud Office and the Security Exchange Commission. Please note there are no free lunches available in Tanzania. Hence the above mentioned doesn't happen free of charge. 2. Kind attention, TRA. The plain paper employment contracts of more than 50 plus expatriates as shown above should be available at the Tanzanian Investment Center and or the Department of Immigration. It should be also available with Diageo Serengeti Breweries. Important to note, employment contracts going back since 2011. During our investigation, we found that Diageo Serengeti Breweries changed the employment contracts since 2012. 3. Kind attention, the Ministry of Constitutional and Legal Affairs and the Judicial Service Commission of Tanzania. Does the law discriminate between a Tanzanian and a foreign national? Dr. Hector Siqueira was categorically told that since he was a foreigner, Diageo Serengeti Breweries should be allowed to file their application to seek an extension of time. 4. Kind attention, PCCB. There are quite a few critical names mentioned within this video. The truth is likely to be available within the phone call and WhatsApp records, especially between months from June 2018 to June 2019. 5. Part 2 of this video, which consists of documentary evidence, has been shared with the following organizations directly: the Security Exchange Commission, the Department of Justice under the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, United States, the Serious Fraud Office, United Kingdom, the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, Switzerland, Tanzania, United Kingdom and United States, the UK Tax Authorities and Her Majesty's Office,